So let me introduce you to possibly the craziest decision I have ever made. So let's jump back to a couple of weeks ago where this happened. And if you know me, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I'm such a planner when it comes to getting new pets. When I got my other dog, River, I was on a waiting list for 2 years. I bought things years in advance. This was quite unexpected and quite last minute, which is not something that I'm usually very comfortable with, but something in me told me that I just had to go for it. I just had to take the chance because he is kind of a once in a lifetime dog that I wasn't sure I was going to happen upon again. So yes, he is an Australian Shepherd, and that is a crazy choice of dog breed. They are not easy dogs at all, and in my mind I really wanted one. They were on my list of dogs I'd really love to own, and ideally that would have been in 1 to 2 years when we moved onto a farm. We do spend a lot of time already at the farm on the weekends, during the weekdays, so he does get to spend a lot of time there already. But I was being good. I was waiting. I wasn't actively looking. So his story and what had happened is I was scrolling on Pets for Homes, which is a really dangerous thing to do, but I often find a lot of mice needing rescuing on there. So I was actually looking to get more mice and adopt more mice because I needed some for my other mice to be friends with. And what had happened is I was scrolling, and on the bottom, because I had searched months and months ago for Australian Shepherds, just for fun, because I would never purchase a puppy from a selling site. If you are going to make that choice to not adopt or rescue a dog or a puppy, and you do want to get one from a breeder, please don't get one from a selling site, because it is much more ethical to go to a registered kennel club breeder that has done health testing. They've got a contract in place just in case you can't keep that dog for whatever reason. They will always take it back, and they're raised well. You know where the dogs are coming from. I would always avoid buying a dog from a selling site, but I was just looking purely for fun. I was never gonna purchase a dog from a breeder on there. I just like looking at the pictures. So because I had done that, Australian Shepherd adverts kept popping up on the bottom of my other searches, and I was ignoring most of them, but one of them caught my attention, and it was a 12-week-old Australian Shepherd puppy that was being given away. And he was just perfect looking. I always wanted a red Merle Australian Shepherd if I was lucky enough to have one. And he was just the picture that I had in my head of what I envisioned my next dog to look like, which I know is just so vain, so silly, but as soon as I saw him, my heart did a weird thing, and I just had to click on it. So his story and the reason he was being given away after only having him for 4 weeks by his previous owners, they bought him from a breeder from Pets for Homes, is they bought him, they purchased him, they had him for about 3 or 4 weeks, and they did live in a flat. They didn't have a garden, which I can't imagine. Some people make it work and they do a really good job of this. I could just not imagine trying to toilet train a puppy without having a garden. I just couldn't do it. But the biggest reason his previous owner wanted to give him away is because he was just, and he still is, absolutely crazy. And him getting zoomies in a tiny flat with no garden to get his energy out was just becoming way too much. And they were quickly realizing they wanted more for him. They have done a pretty good job. They were lovely people, and I don't fault them for making the right decision to rehome him before it would be too traumatic. I mean, he has adapted so well. I don't think he really remembers much from before. It's not really affected him because they made the right decision and made that choice for him early on, realizing that it was maybe a mistake to buy him in the first place. So yeah, they were pretty heartbroken to give him up, and I didn't just agree to take him straight away because I was quite apprehensive Obviously, you don't know the true reasons why someone might be giving away a puppy, and I don't recommend doing this if you're not in the position to deal with whatever might come of that, whether there's underlying health issues or behavioural problems. I mean, everything I've seen from him so far has just been normal, horrible, terrible puppy behaviour, which is completely normal. So yeah, I don't recommend taking such a risk unless you have the funds, the resources, the mental capacity to take on whatever could possibly be wrong with them and could be an underlying reason that isn't being disclosed why they want to rehome them. But I spoke to his previous owner for many, many days back and forth, just checking there wasn't anything else. And it did seem like they just made an honest mistake. So I had to just put my trust into that. And he was a good 4 hours away from us. So we couldn't really just go and meet him and then decide on a different day. We just had to pack the car, get our things, get on the road and go and pick him up. He does not want to be on the camera with me, so I'm just going to hold his doggy instead. But yeah, it was all very last minute and very rushed because the guy needed him gone by the end of the week. He was going back to working full time, and that is very, very tricky with a puppy living in a flat. So we had to make a very quick decision about whether we were going to do this or not. And trust me, I went back and forth about whether it was the right time, and to some degree maybe it wasn't the right moment to do this, but I just couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't going to get this chance again to have my dream dog breed and rescue them, give a dog a home that really needs a different situation. So yeah, we found out about him, I think, on a Tuesday, and by the Friday, we were driving the 4 hours to go and pick him up. So here are the clips from that day. One thing that has been an absolute lifesaver when it comes to giving me 10 minutes of peace now that I have 2 dogs instead of 1 is natural dog treats. Now, I have used this brand of dog treats for about 2 years now, ever since I got River, and she loves them. They do all different types for different dogs that favour different things, and I'm now an affiliate for them. So just in case you also have dogs and you do feed them natural dog treats, you can now use my code ME10 and that will get you 10% off on their website of all of their different ranges of natural dog treats. So I have got these beef twists, and I think, do you want one? Do you want one of these? This is for being such a good girl and putting up with your little brother. Cove, here you go. So yeah, this is Cove, and we have had him now for almost 4 weeks, which is almost as long as his previous owners had him. So it has flown by. It has been a tricky couple of weeks because any puppy is difficult, but raising an Australian Shepherd puppy is particularly hard. So it has been a very tiring, stressful couple of weeks. But we have had him for almost 4 weeks now, and he's starting to just feel like he has always been here. So his name is Cove. I really wanted another water theme name to go with river, so we have got River and Cove. And he is about 16 weeks old at this point, and he was about 12, 13 weeks old when we went to pick him up. One thing that I forgot to mention is that he is a natural bobtail. It has not been docked or removed. Some Australian Shepherds do have that done to them, but his litter, there was a mixture. Some had tails, some had natural bobtails like him, and some had half tails. So yeah, he was born like this. Nothing happened to him, it wasn't removed. If I did have a choice, I would always go for a dog that does have a tail, just because it's so much easier to quickly read their body language, to see how they're feeling about situations. And with him, because he doesn't have a tail, he does wag the nub, but apart from that, you can't really see much going on at all. The actual moment of meeting him for the first time was so cute. I picked a random park that was kind of halfway between us, and I was sat in the car waiting. Next minute, his previous owner comes around the corner with him, and he was way smaller than I was expecting. He was like a tiny polar bear cub trotting along next to him. Now he has doubled in size. He has shot up. His legs have got so long, and yeah, he's just grown so much. But the meeting between him and River could not have gone better. They loved each other straight away. They were playing in the water and everything. And that actual moment that I caught on camera was just so cute, wasn't it? You loved her straight away. The actual drive home itself was pretty stressful because the way that I secure my dogs in the car is by a seatbelt, and River has her own seatbelt. Cove also has a seatbelt as well, which I had already. I quickly ordered one for him. But when he came with everything he needed, I was expecting like a harness that fit him or something, and he only came on a slip lead, which obviously I'm not going to attach that to a seatbelt in the car. That would not be safe at all. So yeah, that was a long, stressful 2 hours of holding him on my lap. I didn't have anything to really hold on to. I didn't want to hold the slip lead because it was around his throat. I don't have anything against slip leads if they're positioned properly on an adult dog that understands them. That's your choice if you want to use that, but using them on a puppy around their throat, he pulls a lot on the lead. I actually had to take him for a checkup at the vet's. I was going to do this anyway just in case, but I think the result of having that slip lead around his throat for a couple of weeks and really pulling on it with his previous owner, I think it did bruise his trachea a little bit because he really snored when he was asleep, and he would sometimes make like snorting, coughing noises. So took him to the vet's just to check, and she did say there was a little bit of damage or bruising, but it should heal up. And fingers crossed, he's not really done it in a couple of weeks, so I think it's healed. You can't see it right now, but the way he lies down, he proper like sploots on the floor. Can you see his sploot? You can't see the sploot. We can't see the sploot. There's the sploot. But we got him home, and the funniest thing about getting him is obviously with our other dog River, we knew that we were getting her at some point. We knew for a good 2 years. So everyone else around us knew and was prepared for that. We did not tell a soul because it was so last minute, and it also seemed like such an out-of-pocket thing for us to do that we thought, you know what, we're just going to surprise everyone with him. So we literally went around to various family members and just knocked on the door unannounced, just holding him up, and everyone was absolutely gobsmacked about this. With my sister-in-law, I said to her, oh, can you just go and get my laptop out of the car? She opened the back doors and he was just sat there and she just cried. So yeah, everyone has been very nice about the unexpected arrival. I would not have blamed them for judging us because it was such a last minute crazy decision. But yeah, the past few weeks has just been about letting him settle in, learning about him learning about us, and trying to teach him some basic manners. But I have been taking lots of videos over the past couple of weeks here and there, so I'll put in a little compilation of some of the things he's been getting up to. He has started puppy classes, he's met some of my friends' dogs, he loves the water, so yeah, here are some clips of that. Look at my little farm dog who has hiccups. I honestly would not have got an Australian Shepherd if we didn't have access to this. I just don't think it would have been fair, especially on him and his personality, but he spends a lot of time here, especially when my boyfriend's here working with the tractor and things. He just hangs out with him in all this space, which is great. So yeah, I cannot wait to live here full time and him have access to this every single day, all day. I would love to get sheep. You come in? Come on then, let's go. What have you got in your mouth? Come on, let's go. I would love to get sheep at some point in the future. I wanted sheep well before I even got him. But I would love to train him to actually properly herd and fulfill that instinct. But I don't know anything about going about that and doing that, so yeah, I would love to get sheep for him in here. That is the dream. Did you get in the trailer all by yourself? Good job. Good job, buddy. Cove. Shall we go and see the next door neighbours? Let's go. So I thought, since I have well and truly got puppy brain and not baby brain, I would just ask you guys what you wanted to know instead, because I'm sure I'm going to forget to tell you something, because it has been a hell of a month. So first question is, how are you doing with trying to keep him busy as his breed is a working dog? This one is tricky because although he is a high energy working breed, Hubble, why are you being mean to River? Although he is a high energy breed that needs to do things to fulfill his specific breed traits, he's still a puppy. He still needs a lot of sleep and he gets overstimulated very, very quickly. He needs a lot of sleep and he can't do too much exercise for his age. So trying to find a balance between that has been tricky, and also just trying to teach him the basics that every dog should know. Doesn't leave many hours in the day for doing breed specific things. I have been trying to introduce things like a flirt pole. I really want to get him a herding ball, but also just trying to find time in the day for those things when you're also trying to teach basic manners and tricks that every dog should know is quite tricky. So yeah, I'm trying to start slipping in things that are going to be fulfilling for him. He really likes movement, obviously, so rewarding him with a tug toy on the ground for coming back to me, things like that. Does he have a cute/funny quirk? Yes, I'd say his funny quirk, and I hope this never goes away. I hope he doesn't grow out of this, because River never really did this when she was younger, is he will tilt his head at anything. Any weird noise that we make or the TV makes, he is such a head tilty dog, and it is just the cutest thing ever. So I hope that sticks around. And a cute quirk, he has got this dog. I think these are the dogs that have the heartbeat in. This is his comfort teddy that he came with. He's had this since 8 weeks old, and he will just grab this wherever it is in the room, bring it all the way over to me and sit on my lap with this, holding it really, really tightly as a comfort thing, which is just so cute. What are your plans for grooming him? Will you be doing it yourself or going to a groomer? So day to day, week to week, obviously I'll be brushing him and things like that, doing his nails. I've got pretty good with River at trimming the really hairy, grinchy bits between her toes, so I can do a similar thing with him. But I have booked him in, I think next week. He has his first puppy groom with a professional groomer, because just in case he does end up very big and very hairy, which he is going to, and just in case I'm not great at doing that myself, I really want to make sure he's used to having that from a professional groomer in that kind of setting. So yeah, sending him off about once a month or so just to get him used to going to that environment. What are the biggest differences between raising him and raising River? Gosh, so many, but then also not at the same time. Every puppy is noisy, bitey, stressful. They are both similar levels of stress, I would say. He definitely has a lot more energy than she does. He can jump about 4 foot off the floor already. So he's definitely a lot more of a higher energy puppy than she was. Getting him later on and not at 8 weeks old has been a different experience, because he's bigger, he's stronger, he's more developed. But in a lot of ways, he is still very much like an 8-week-old puppy, because he doesn't really know anything. By 4 months old, River knew 10, 15 different commands. She didn't pull on the lead. He does not know anything. So in some aspects, it is like having a very, very young puppy again, starting from the basic. Personality-wise, there is definitely a lot of differences. He is a lot more strong-willed. River, if you even slightly give her a disappointed glance, she is like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't want to disappoint you. He, on the other hand, does not care. I think it fuels him more than anything. So he's definitely a strong character. He's very ballsy, he is so confident, throwing himself into situations, throwing himself into water, whereas River has always been very dainty and hesitant about doing things like that. So yeah, it's been different. I don't know if that's differences in the breed or differences between having a dainty female dog and a boisterous boy dog. It's been different. What tricks does he know? He barely knows anything. I think I previously mentioned that at this age, River knew like the entire puppy class syllabus. She could do everything perfectly. He, on the other hand, is pure chaos that just about knows how to sit. Sit was the only thing that he came knowing how to do. We've been teaching him down. I've been trying to teach him stay. He knows touch. But apart from that, I'm not really focusing on tricks and commands yet anyway, because so much of the time has been spent managing him with everyone else in the household, just trying to get him to have manners in the house. That has been the most important thing. Everything else can come later. He is so cute. How is Hubble doing with the new addition? Hubble is actually sat right here off camera, and he has really surprised me. So obviously when we got River, she was 8 weeks old. She was smaller than a cat. She was a lot more cautious of cats because she was that little bit younger. With him being bigger, older, not by much, but enough that I knew that he hadn't ever seen a cat before. So I was a little bit more cautious. I didn't want him hurting Hubble, and I kept them separate for about a week, managed through a gate and the crate and doors and things like that. I was trying my hardest to keep them separate and just rewarding calm behaviour. Hubble took things into his own hands and decided, you know what? I don't care. I'm not bothered. I own this house. And he jumped into the playpen, the puppy pen, multiple times to be with him. And he smacked him a couple of times. And you know what? Since then, that has worked way more than any of the management or training that I was trying to do. Him smacking him a couple of times means that Cove now pretty much ignores him, which is perfect. So yeah, Hubble is doing way better than I expected. Way better than he did adjusting to having River in the house. I think now he knows what a dog is and how to act around them. He's not really that bothered. What are you planning on doing considering you've got a male and a female? So accidental litters only happen to people that are irresponsible. I think some people think puppies can just magically appear one day. There is much more that goes into it. The dog actually has to be in season for that to happen. And River only really has one season a year. And we are planning on keeping them entirely separate during that. I keep them separate most of the day anyway. They are never together unsupervised for anything like that to happen. That being said, we are definitely planning on neutering him when the time comes, when he's big enough, when he's fully grown. I don't believe in neutering dogs too early, and we might spay River after her next season. So yeah, nothing is going to happen. I am not going to let that happen. Are his eyes two different colours? Kind of. Both of his eyes are mostly green, and then his right eye has got a fleck of blue running through it that makes it look like it's blue. Is he going to train to be an assistance dog? No, and I didn't get him with that intention. I really just wanted my next dog to just be for fun, with the pressure off, the stress off. I was so stressed trying to raise River, making sure that everything I did, every experience was the right thing to do. And with him, obviously it still matters, but I'm not as stressed about that. So no, he is not going to be an assistance dog. He might end up being suitable and show some traits that might work out for that. Some people do have Australian Shepherds as assistance dogs. Personally, that would not be my choice. He is just a big baby that doesn't know anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed meeting Cove for the first time. This was as unexpected to us as I'm sure it is to all of you watching, but he is part of the family now, so you will see him in more of my videos, I'm sure. But if you want to see him every single day, make sure to go and follow their Instagram, my dog Instagram, which is now called River with Cove. I post on there pretty much every single day on stories and reels and things, just what they're getting up to, training and things like that. So if that is your thing, please make sure you're going and following them there, because you will see so much more of them than I can show here on my channel. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!